Hey, welcome back to the channel. So if you're seeing this, you're probably interested in moving to Canada as soon as possible. And with all the policy changes that have taken place in the last year or so, it seems that the express entry has become popular again. The express entry is actually Canada's immigration route that covers the Federal Skilled Workers Program, the Federal Skilled Trades Program, and the Canadian Experience Class. Now, one thing about the express entry or any other permanent residence route is that you need to write and pass the IELTS. It is non-negotiable. For you to become a Canada permanent resident, you need to actually pass the IELTS exam. And this exam has given a lot of people headache. And today we're going to be talking about everything you need to know about passing the IELTS with the highest scores if possible. So, if you're dreaming of starting a new life in Canada, there's one big step you need to take before packing your bags, and that is passing the IELTS, like I've said before. And many of you have continued to fear this exam, maybe because of your own painful experience or the painful experience of someone that you know or something you've heard. If that is you, then stay tuned because in this video, we're breaking down everything that you need to know to ace the IELTS and make your Canadian dream come true. Now, if you are to learn everything there is to know about scoring high on the IELTS so that you can be in the best position to get into the express entry pool, then let's get started. The IELTS, or the International English Language Testing System, is your ticket to Canada, especially if you want to immigrate through the express entry, the Provincial Nominee Program, the new caregiver program, or any permanent residence route to Canada. This exam is divided into 4 key modules: listening, reading, writing, and speaking. Each one tests different language skills, and you will need to excel in all of them to achieve the scores required for Canadian immigration. For the Canada Express entry, you typically need a minimum overall score of 7.0 with no less than 6.0 in each band. For provincial nominee programs, the requirements can vary and sometimes the requirements are lower. So be sure to check the specifics for your desired province. For the caregiver program, it's even lower. You just need a CLB4, which is basically scoring just 4 in each module. That one is very doable. I always say the IELTS is not about speaking English alone. It's about strategy. So let's break down each module and give you the strategies that you need to succeed. Let us start with listening. The listening module. In this module, you will need to listen and answer questions based on what you hear. You will have 30 minutes to answer 40 questions across 4 recordings, which include monologues and conversations. Now, here's how to excel in the listening module. Number 1 is familiarize yourself with different accents. So, the British accent, Australian accent, and the Canadian accent, because they can use any of these accents. So, listening to news channels and watching movies from these regions can help. Please make sure that you are not distracted. And if you lose track during the exam, just move on to the next question. That recording is not going to wait for you. Number 2 is practice, practice, practice. You need to practice. I can't say this enough. Whether it's listening, speaking, writing, or reading, practice is very, very important and cannot be overstated. Practice with IELTS listening samples to get used to the format. The official IELTS website offers numerous free samples that you can use. Number three is take notes when you are listening. Jot down the keywords and phrases quickly, focusing on the key points. You don't want to get lost during the listening process because that listening is something that you can easily feel if you get lost and you don't even know where you are in the listening process. And for number four, I know you already watch English movies, but watch them intentionally. Watch to improve your listening skills. Pay attention to the context and try to understand the gist, even if you miss a word or two. Check out the official IELTS website for excellent practice materials. They have lots and lots of it. Listening is one that you can easily pass and it's one that you can easily feel. Like I said, practice, practice. Yeah? If you did not hear what they said, move on. And usually for each recording, one question follows the next. One question follows the next. So if you lose track of the first question, please just jump to the next question. I cannot say this enough. Don't sit there and be bemoaning the fact that you have missed the previous question, because the more you stay there feeling bad, the more questions you will miss. Okay? The next one is the reading model. You have 60 minutes to read 3 long passages and answer 40 questions. I think that reading is probably the most difficult for people to pass because sometimes those passages, it can be so abstract that you have absolutely no idea what they are saying. And sometimes by the time you're reading the passages, time is going. And a lot of people get nervous because time is going, they are reading the passages, they are not answering the question, and they don't understand it. And before you know, they're just answering anything they like just because they feel time has passed. That is the absolutely wrong strategy for you to use for the reading model. In this video, I'm going to tell you the best way for you to prepare, practice, and pass the reading model. So here's how to tackle this reading model. Number one is skim and scan. What you need to do is quickly go through the passage to get the main idea. Please don't overlook this one. Don't say you are in a hurry. Skim and scan. First, go through the passage and get the main idea. Then focus on the headlines, the subheadings, and the first and the last sentences of each paragraph. Number two, look for keywords in the questions and match them with the text. This helps you locate the relevant part of the passage faster, the relevant part of the passage where the question is coming from, so that you're not having to read the entire passage each time you are trying to answer a question. Yeah? So usually what I've noticed from the reading is that the questions are also progressive. So if they have started to ask questions from the beginning, they will be asking the questions progressively. So when you are going through the reading material, just go progressively like that as well. And number three, again, of course, is practice, practice, practice. Practice reading complex text from scientific articles to literature to websites like The Guardian, the National Geographic, and Science Daily. These are great resources that can help you get into the mood of reading complex scientific literature. Because trust me, the reading material in the IELTS sometimes can be so complex because they might be talking about things that you have absolutely no idea about. So if you start practicing now and try skimming and scamming long text, especially scientific text, you will get better and you probably increase your chances of passing the reading model. Number four is improve your vocabulary. Knowing more words will help you understand the passages even better. Use flashcards or apps like Anki to build your vocabulary when you are practicing. Now, for practice, you can use sites like IELTS Mentor, Cambridge English, and IELTSexams.net. These offer a wide range of reading exercises and sample texts that can help you prepare. Now, let's talk about the writing model. The writing model is also very difficult for a lot of testers because of the different kinds of writing. You're not even sure which one you will be asked. So a lot of people prepare for one type of writing format and then they are asked about something else and they get nervous, they lose their nerves, and then they mess up on the exam. but this is not going to be you, okay? Because we're going to learn strategies of how you can pass the writing module no matter the format that they give you on the exam. In the writing module, you have 60 minutes to complete 2 tasks, a 150-word report and a 250-word essay. Now, these are some strategies that I would advise you to use to help you to get high marks in the writing module. Number 1 is understand the structure. Know the format of the different essay types like opinion, discussion, and problem solution essays. The task 1 in the exam is usually easier. They might just ask you about yourself or something easy like describing something, and it is easier to pass that than the task 2. Number 2 is practice planning your essays. Spend 5 minutes outlining your points before you start writing. Please do not jump into writing without planning. Spending just 5 minutes to outline your point before you write in will help you stay organized and coherent, and you will make more sense, okay? The number 3 point I want you to note is to use varied vocabulary and sentence structures to showcase your language skills. Avoid repetition, avoid it, and use synonyms. So, for example, if you're talking about something like reading, use synonyms, use studying, use practicing, use strategizing. So, don't use the same word throughout your essay. That's why you need to know a range of words and a range of synonyms. I'm telling you, this is a very big hack to pass the writing. So let them not see you continue using the same word in the essay. They want to see a variety of words, a variety of sentences. Use short sentences, use long sentences, and use synonyms of the same word. But make sure that your sentences are short, long, and varied so that they know that you have a good grasp of the English language. Number 4 is very important. It's time management. Please allocate around 20 minutes for task 1 and 40 minutes for task 2. Because like I said earlier, task 1 is usually easier and task 2 is the most difficult one. But you don't want to ignore one for the other. You need to do the 2 of them well, but give yourself about 20 minutes to complete the first task and 40 minutes for the second one. Now, allocating it like this ensures that you have enough time to complete both tasks thoroughly. You need to do both for you to actually pass. Websites like IELTS Body, IELTS Advantage, and Write and Improve by Cambridge English offers great tips and sample essays. Also, consider getting your essays reviewed by someone that you trust or using online platforms that provide feedback on your writing. You don't just want to be practicing on your own without getting feedback. You want to practice and get feedback so that you can know how to improve. So wherever you can find either a body, a teacher, or a platform that can check your writing for you, please make sure you do that. If you have to pay a small fee, please pay it. The most important thing is that you need to pass this exam and score high in your first try. So finally, we're talking about speaking. The speaking model, I think, is probably the simplest to pass because you will just be speaking, right? You will just be talking to somebody. But that does not mean that you should not practice. Yeah? You should be able to practice even though you don't know exactly what you'll be asked, right? You still need to practice. You will have an 11 to 14 minute face-to-face interview divided into 3 parts: an introduction, an interview, a short speech, and a discussion. Don't be deceived if the examiner is smiling. That does not mean that you are doing well. Just focus on what you're doing, okay? Don't look at their face. Just be doing what you're doing, but make sure that you're practicing. And like I said before, use synonyms. Don't use the same words over and over. Use synonyms and be confident so that they can see that you are actually a confident person. Try not to stutter. Try not to use long sentences that makes you lose focus. Use short sentences that you can control because you're just going to be answering few short questions. These are tips that will help you to shine in the speaking model. Number 1 again is practice. Join a language exchange or find a speaking partner. Platforms like italki and HelloTalk are great for this. Number two is familiarize yourself with common topics. Practice answering questions about yourself, your hometown, your hobbies, and current events. Record yourself and play it back to identify areas for improvement. Number three, work on your pronunciation and fluency. Speak clearly and confidently using natural pauses and intonation. Avoid speaking too fast or too slow. Number four is record yourself. Listen to your answers and work on areas for improvement. Practice maintaining eye contact and using body language to appear more confident. Try platforms like Speak IELTS, the British Council's speaking videos, and IELTS Speaking Success for speaking practice and tips. Watching interviews and practicing in front of a mirror can also help you improve. At this point, I invite you to like the video if you're getting any value. I know that IELTS has been a problem for a lot of people, but trust me, if you can follow the tips in this video, I believe that the next IELTS that you write will not be throwing money away, but you will actually get the scores that you are actually desiring. Now that we've gone through the four modules and we've talked about the tips and strategies for each, let us put it all together. Let's come up with an effective study plan. Now, you need to give yourself about 4 weeks to get yourself ready. And if you feel that in 4 weeks you're not ready, you can give yourself even more time. But I feel that 4 weeks of detailed and intensive preparation would usually work for you. Now, here's a comprehensive 4-week plan to get you IELTS ready. Week 1, focus on listening and reading practice. For the listening, spend 1 hour daily on listening exercises using resources like the official IELTS website and BBC podcast. Reading, spend 1 hour daily reading various types of text such as newspapers, scientific articles, and literature. Practice skimming and scanning techniques. Week 2, start integrating writing practice. Write one task 1 and one task 2 essay every other day. Review sample essays and practice using a variety of sentence structures and vocabulary. Listening and reading. Continue with daily listening and reading practice, focusing on understanding complex text and different accents. Now we're on to week 3. In week 3, you intensify speaking practice. Join online speaking groups or practice with a partner or a friend daily. Record your responses to common IELTS speaking topics and review them for clarity and fluency. Now, when it comes to writing, listening, and reading, continue practicing writing essays, listening to English audio, and reading challenging text. Aim to complete full practice text under timed exam conditions. Now we're on to week 4. In week 4, take full-length practice text. Take 2 full-length IELTS practice tests in that week. Time yourself and simulate exam conditions to build endurance and get accustomed to the test format. Review and focus. Review your answers, especially in areas where you struggle. Focus on improving your weaker skills by revisiting specific exercises and seeking feedback. Passing the IELTS is your gateway to Canada, and with the right strategies and dedication, you can actually achieve the scores that you need. Remember to stay consistent with your practice. Use the resources that we've shared here, and most importantly, believe in yourself. Now, I hope that you would really take it to heart and begin to practice and help yourself to get the best score in the IELTS. The people who are getting 8.5, they don't have two heads. They are doing just what I have taught you in today's video. So, If you found this video valuable, give it a thumbs up now. And don't forget to subscribe to our channel for more tips on moving to Canada successfully. Share your thoughts and questions in the comments, especially your experiences with IELTS. We are here to help you every step of the way. I'm wishing you the very best of luck with your IELTS, and I'm hoping to see you in Canada. Next week, we're going to show you someone who struggled with IELTS like you, and he's going to be sharing the tips on how he was able to overcome IELTS and score high to get the scores that his heart desires. These are practical tips from someone just like you, and I'm hoping that you will stay tuned to watch that video right here. I'm going to put it right here when that video is done. So once more, wishing you the best in your IELTS, and I want you to believe in yourself. IELTS, you will crush it in your next exam. Amen. Talk to you in the next video, and all the best.